got people in masks. Okay. Then on Monday, then was that when you did the show Monday night? Okay.
Yep.
How did you prepare for that? Did you know what you were going to sing before you left?
Yeah, we put together our show. We decided what songs we wanted to sing that we had already kind of put together, and then we rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed a lot. So when we got there, there was actually a girl who's in a lot of shows there. She helped us to like perfect like our formations and stuff like that before we went on, and that helped a lot. And then we got to perform, and it was a lot of fun.
Okay. And was it a lot of people there? Was there a very good crowd for your opening?
I mean, it wasn't as much as I was really expecting, but it was still quite a few.
Okay. And, of course, a chance to go on the stage there, and that's a neat deal. I think that gives the students a good chance to what it feels like and open for someone, that would be good. Okay. Then Tuesday, what?
Tuesday, we got up and drove home.
How long did it take to drive? You were home by 5 or something like that?
Yeah, we were home around 5.
9 hours.
Yeah.
9 hours, okay. Well, you were there, weren't you?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So besides doing the singing, what was just doing all those different? Had you ever been there before?
Nope, that was my first time in Branson.
Okay. And you go back, Anna? Would you go back?
I would definitely go back. The only thing I would have liked to have more time there. We were so rushed. We didn't get to totally do everything,
Well, I was surprised. I didn't. Rachel never said anything about it going. All of a sudden, she shows the pictures on the amendment. They're going in, and then coming back. Tuesday she was back already. So is it do you have to pay them to perform, or is it just a trade out thing there at the place? You just went in, and were they all real helpful with it? Or did they have much to do with you there?
They're really open to helping the youth kind of get lit up about doing things like this. Sure. And so the company we go through does this year round, and they do it for a lot of school groups. And,
okay.
So then everything's already ready to go, and we just kind of get ushered around. We had our own tour guide, and she takes us everywhere. She tells us where to park, where to be. I mean, she was really helpful.
Well, that would be neat. And they took care of everything, where you're staying and all, and the whole thing. Well, that's neat.
Yeah. That way our stress is mostly just getting our show together and not the details of the trip itself.
What songs did you sing? What do you remember?
Okay, so we did Time of My Life.
Yeah.
What was after that? We did Can't Take My Eyes Off of You. Take Me Home.
Take Me Home, Country Roads?
No.
Well, that's a different, okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. What else did we do? God Bless the USA.
Oh, wow.
What else
I
am I
bet that was
missing?
popular.
And I'll Be There.
I'll Be There.
Yeah.
Bless the USA is my favorite song that we've
it's a
done
great
this year.
song, and so that's great experience, and of course that's your last time to do that, isn't it? I understand you're a senior, you're going to be going to college.
It was actually my first time as well. I never tried out for amendment until this year.
Well, hey, that's great. Okay, that'd been good if you could have gone on. Anyway, so you're home, and now you're raising money for next year. Is that what Sunday's all about? Okay, what are you doing Sunday for the? It's 3:00 at the Huck Boyd.
Yes.
Aren't we lucky to have Huck Boyd here?
Very fortunate.
No, we really are.
Yes.
Every time I go out there, I say, man, it's great. And some people didn't want it when they were going to do it. And they thought they were going to end up on the tax roll and everything. Okay, so.
Yes.
So what are your plans? What are you going to sing? They're movie songs, right? Movies,
yep.
Okay.
It's all movie songs. It's a mix of dances and different songs we've been singing throughout the year, plus a few new ones. And then this is the kids' chance to do solos and small groups as well. And so they've gotten to pick a lot of their own stuff that they want to sing by themselves.
Okay, so what are some of the movie songs you're going to be doing?
They're going to do some of their tour music, but they're also singing songs from The Music Man.
Oh, wow.
They're doing songs for like a couple of American-typed songs. What else? We have kids doing songs that were not originally for movies, but like redone in movies later on. Like I know we have one singing an Elton John song.
Oh, wow.
So we've got quite a mix of stuff.
Okay, and it's free will.
Yes.
Go out at 3:00, and it helps out what you're going to do. Now, when do you go to state? Now, who's going to state with your group?
The entire mixed ensemble, as well as just the ladies ensemble, made it to state. So that is the Saturday following. So that's Saturday the 28th. We also have 3 soloists who made it.
Really?
So.
Okay, that's great. Are you going?
Yes.
What are you going with, the ensemble? Or
Yeah, I'll
what
be in the mixed ensemble, the girls, and then I'm also in a flute trio for band.
Okay, that's great. Now, they have all these, and you're going, it's at Gypsum, is that where,
Gypsum.
Southeast Saline, is that where you're going?
Yes.
Okay. And so you're taking a good contingent down there, aren't you?
Yes.
And where was your regional?
Regional was at Oberlin.
Okay. Was that a good experience out there at Oberlin?
I think so. It's a really busy day, and
Yeah.
so you kind
Sure.
of just try to jump from one thing to the next. So
I can remember out here they had regionals, I think, in speech, and it's a busy time. You know, I'm in and out, and
yes.
I'm doing that. So where are you going to school? MacKinzie?
I'm planning on going to Bethany College in Lindsborg
Okay. And
for
what do you-
elementary education.
To be what? What are you going to take? I mean,
Elementary education. I'll be a teacher.
You'll be a teacher.
Yep.
All right. Oh, very good. What made you decide to be a teacher?
Well, I don't know. Most of my life I had been planning to be like a nurse or a vet or something like that, but then I just decided that really wasn't for me, and that I really like working with kids, so I thought that would be a
Sure.
good option.
No. And anymore, just because you're a girl, you don't have to be a nurse. You know, a nurse or something. You can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's great to come along like that. So, all right, now, so that's Sunday at 3:00, the amendment, and going out, here's some great music. Then the band, Bill Schick was going to come in and talk about the band this morning, but he's doing one of the train shows out there, and it does a good job on that. So when does the high school band, when is their performance coming up?
The high school band concert is Tuesday night at 7:00, also at Huck Boyd Center.
Okay, and then next week also they have the 7th and 8th grade, and then
Yes. So Thursday night will be the 5th and 6th grade band and choir.
5th and 6th. Okay.
And then the following Monday, the 30th, is the 7th and 8th grade
Wow.
band and choir. And then at the end, they also have their awards program. So
Okay,
that's a
wow.
nice long night.
That sure is. That's great. Well, we hope that we're glad you had a good time, and I think that's a great to get out a little bit, and it's kind of a little bit of reward for what the work they do there and everything. I was here when Mr. A. Strike was here, so I knew him. And do you know do you know where the name, the amendment, came up? Have you ever heard where that came from?
No, I saw somebody mention it on a post, but I don't know what the answer was.
Yeah.
So.
I really did not.
You know, it's been, this goes back a long time when Mr. A. Strike was here, and I think he did music. I think he did Annie. I think one year. I think they did Annie. That was a long time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, so you're ready to get back to school then? Are you ready to head back?
Oh, I suppose I better get back.
What class did I get you out of?
Student aid, so I don't really have anything going on anyway.
Oh, shit. So after Sunday, then what do you do then for the rest of? There's not much of the school year left, is there?
Nope, I have those 2 concerts, and then we sing the high school choir and the amendment both perform at graduation. So
Okay, and that's
doing that.
it then.
Yep.
All right. And what do you do in the summertime?
in the summertime, I'm going to probably spend it this year with my baby. So
Okay, well, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Well, thank you for coming on. I'm glad you had a
Thank
good
you.
time in Branson.
Thanks.
And I'll see you Sunday afternoon because I want to be there for that. So
Great.
thank
Great.
you.
We'll see you there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kelsey Pinkerton with us this morning, also MacKinzie Martin talking about the amendment. Next up, we see if Gimmie Joe Jansonius is out there to talk with us. The program brought to you by the First National Bank and Trust, proudly supporting Panther Athletics. For our sales floor to your delivery door, come see Jim and Terry at Olathe Furniture and Appliance, where they provide gracious living for less. Professional family eye care. See Dr. Julian for all of your eye care needs. Coombs Trucking. You call, we haul. Weinman, Firestone, tire sales and service back to the youth of Phillips County, and Biggs Insurance for all of your auto, home, business, and farm insurance needs. Okay, we're going to talk about the young child. It's going to be kind of new to me, Gimmie Joe, so you're going to have to fill us in on what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Who do you, as your guest, as our guest this morning, who do you represent?
Well, I am here with the KidLink program under the umbrella agency of Developmental Services for Northwest Kansas. And we are a program for children birth to age 3 that have developmental delays. So we help families connect to resources that might help their child that has some type of an early delay to help them make advances and make gains. Because today we know more than ever that early intervention is key to helping our kids get caught up and be ready to learn when they get to school so they don't spend their life behind.
And I recognize KidLink, and so are you based in Stockton?
Yeah, we're based out of Stockton. We serve the 6 counties of Phillips, Smith, Rooks, Norton, Russell, and Osborne counties.
Okay.
And so we provide a home-based service to help families.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how it works.
Yeah, exactly. So within the KidLink program, we obviously believe that early intervention is key. And so anyone can make a referral if they have a concern about their child or a child that's in their life. It might be their grandchild.
Sure,
It might be a niece and nephew. It might be somebody that's just a friend. They can make a referral to our organization. We go in and we do a comprehensive evaluation of all 5 areas of development in a child. And if they qualify for services, we're able to help them with everything from physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech language therapy, and early cognition, childhood development type things.
So you basic bottom line, KidLink helps you get a little boy or girl up to speed by when they get into regular school, right?
Yep,
Is that
absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, today we know more than ever that the importance of early childhood intervention, and yet never before have the needs of those families been as demanding as they are today. And so just really being aware of that and getting in there to provide those services, access to healthcare, access to services in rural parts of the state really seems to be a challenge that we're facing today. And so this gives us an opportunity to provide some of those services to families that might not otherwise have access, because out here in Northwest Kansas, that is a struggle sometimes.
Okay, so if you have a young boy or girl that maybe needs some of your services, who are the providers? Are they volunteers or are they professionals?
That is a great question, Tad. Yes, we are all professionals. Everyone that is on our staff that provides direct services to children maintains some sort of professional credential with the state of Kansas. So that means that our physical therapists, our speech language therapists, myself as a teacher, we are all licensed professionals that have to undergo continuing education in order to keep our credentials in order so that we can serve the families that we serve.
Okay. Are you part of the education system per se, or your funding? Where's your funding come from?
So the KidLink program is a Part C funded program under the IDEA, and so we aren't affiliated with a school district. We are under the umbrella agency of Developmental Services of Northwest Kansas, but we do work closely with the schools when it's time to transition those little ones to preschool. So we have good working relationships with those people across the board in 6 counties.
Well, that's what you need to be able to. All of a sudden, you just show up with someone. You have to know what's going on and what they can anticipate, and of course you fill the school district in on what needs to be done, and so that's a great idea. So is there any particular time of the year you could start someone? It's not like
Absolutely.
the school year.
No, it is not like the school year. You're absolutely right. So a referral can take place at any time, and then we have some specific timelines that we have to follow as far as compliance is concerned to get that evaluation done and let those families know about our services and the things that we can provide. But anybody can make a referral at any time, and we can get those services rolling if they qualify.
Is it most of the service? Is it a one-on-one or is it a classroom?
So yeah, that's a great question, Tad. We actually use what's called the coaching model, and in that we go in and we teach the parents how to help their kids using the resources that they already have. Research shows us that parents are the very best teachers of their children because they know their children better than anyone else.
Sure.
So within our coaching model, what that looks like is we talk about the things that the family wants to work on. It's based on the family's needs. It's based on the things that they feel like are important that they want their child to be able to do. And so we go in and we help identify strengths and needs that they have to meet meet those goals and then make a plan to help carry it out. So they're actually the ones that are carrying out the physical therapy exercises with their kids and the speech therapy exercises with their kids under the direction of a professional that specializes in that area. But because they do it every single day as part of their routine, they can have a much bigger impact than I can when I pop in once a week or every other week.
Yeah.
Because once again, parents are the very best teachers of their children because they know them the best.
I'm a firm believer in parents should read to their kids as soon as they, I'm a firm believer in that.
Yes. And research indicates that those children that are read to, learning to read and school is a lot easier for them. And as my former life as a high school English teacher, I could pretty well go across the room and tell you the kids that were read to versus the ones that were not. And so that reading piece is so important. And when children learn to associate the love of reading and the love of learning with love and with a good thing, it just makes that K-12 experience that much more enjoyable for them.
Do they kids read more now? And there was a while there the kids didn't read. When I was growing up, you read all the time, and because you didn't have all these electronic things to mess with, that was what you did at school. You'd read or something or play outside. So did you see a trend coming back to more reading?
Yeah, I think in my 10 or 12 years that I worked in the public school system, we definitely identified that research has told us the importance of reading and reading for meaning, not just reading for the sake of reading. I know in my high school classroom, we read a lot of magazines and a lot of High Plains journals because that's what interested those kids. And that was a real life skill. The likelihood that they were going to go on and read out of the High Plains Journal or read out of the newspaper was much higher than the fact that they were going to keep their library card status active. So, but yeah, any type of reading, it doesn't matter if it's technical or not. It's good for our brains.
I still read the newspaper.
Absolutely.
I don't, this online stuff, give me a newspaper. I can sit there and read, and if I want to go in the other room for a while, I can, and come back and pick the paper up and read it.
Yep.
I great. So someone out there says, well, maybe Johnny or Sally, if they've noticed something, it may not be a problem at all, or if the problem is the right word, but what do they do then? What does a parent do to get their young boy or girl involved?
So they can make a referral, and I will give the phone number here. It's not coming to my brain right now, of course. Let me get that. That's really embarrassing. So anybody can make a referral by calling our office, the KidLink office in Stockton, and that number is area code 785-425-6766. There's usually somebody there to take your call and take the information, and then we proceed from there. So really, it's just as simple as picking up a phone and making that call. We receive a lot of referrals from doctors' offices, from local county health. Our services also go out and do some education about child development and about developmentally appropriate milestones that children should be reaching through like the local WIC programs. So we work closely with a lot of agencies to identify children that might need our services. Yeah. But anybody can make a referral anytime. And once again, I know I've said this before, but we know now more than ever that early intervention is key to getting those kiddos caught up and making sure that they are where they need to be and they're ready to learn when they get to school so that they can have a successful life.
Is this a 12-month program, or do you do it?
No, actually, our program is a birth to age 3 program. So Part C covers birth to age 3. At age 3, that's when Part B would kick in, which would be like the preschool setting or the early childhood development setting that you would see in our public school systems or in local entities. And so at that point, the school system or the interlocal would step in. So it's an ongoing process. If you get a baby that's 10 days old, you'll have them for a short 3 years. If you get them when they're 2, I'll only have them for a year. It just really depends on the needs of the family. And our services are entirely voluntary. So if at some point they feel like they've met their goals or they're no longer requiring those services, then they're able to move on to the next thing.
And you mentioned physical therapy. It's not only the mental. It also is the physical.
Yeah, so fine motor and gross motor are 2 areas of development in proper childhood development.
Sure.
And so those would be areas that a physical therapist or an occupational therapist would address. So yes, and actually, you talk about the language development. That's where you bring in your speech people. So all 5 areas of that development are very important when we're thinking about that whole child and making sure they're ready to do the next thing.
Is there any charge, or how's this?
No, our services are offered completely free of charge. They are funded through categorical aid, federal and state grants. There's some local money that goes to that. And so, yes, those programs are offered entirely free of charge to families just because we know the importance of early intervention to make sure those kids are ready to go.
It used to be, well, my son or my daughter can read at 2. In other words, well, and then you go home, Greg can't read yet, and he's 2.5. So there's a thing in there where you...
Yeah, I think my mom wisely told me one time that comparison kills contentment. That's how she said it. And so, we really want to look at those children as, we really want to look at those children as individuals to know where they're at developmentally. And, not a great idea to compare your kid to what the mom on Facebook is saying, because your child is its own special person.
Yeah, right. And 10 years down the road, they may be a Rhodes Scholar or whatever.
There you go.
Right.
There you go. But just knowing that they have those developmentally appropriate skills for where they're at sometimes can be really comforting, because moms, I think, are blasted on social media with what the other mom is doing, and that's sad. Like I said, comparison kills contentment, and that's not what we want.
I've never heard that before. That really...
I have a pretty wise mom.
Yes, that really makes sense. And that's neat. I'll have to remember that. Because and parents do compare, whether it's on the athletic field or in the school, they compare. Yeah. Well, my son had a touchdown the other night. How'd your son do? Just things like that.
Yeah.
That's great. What's the number again?
Absolutely. That number to our Stockton office is 785-425-6766, and that's with the KidLink program. And once again, I just want to reiterate how important early intervention is, and that's kind of what the Week of the Young Child is all about, to celebrate the fact that we can be with our kids and we can do fun things with our kids, because we know that as parents, we're the very best teachers that our kids are ever going to have.
I think it's important that you can give the help, but it comes back to the home.
It does. And I think that's probably why I'm so passionate about my program that I'm involved in with KidLink, because it empowers families. And I think, the home and the family setting is so crucial to that early social emotional development. When that social emotional piece isn't in place, it makes it really hard for all those other moving parts to work together.
Well, Jimmy and Joe, we appreciate you coming in.
It was great to see you, Tad.
Did we cover everything?
I think we did. But thank you for taking time to visit with us.
It's great.
Celebrating the Week of the Young Child.
Comparison. What's that? Comparison?
Comparison kills contentment. Okay. I think my mom has told me that since I was 10.
That's great. You have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, Tad.
Bye. KidLink, I've known about KidLink I used to see it in the news stories and so on there in Stockton. Gimmie Joe Jansonius with us this morning. I think we'll be talking maybe about the cleanup next week in the city of Phillipsburg. I think might be coming up next. Or they aren't. I saw Gary Bills and do what? Okay, we'll just put ElDean on now then. Yeah, sure. Yeah, come on in there. And we're looking forward to talking with ElDean Holthus. Kind of regular on the show here for a little bit. We're going to be.
We're going to talk about. I know I said we would talk about the event on the.
Sure, right. Yeah, that's what I want to talk.
But we also had another thing happening that we didn't even mention before that happened on that day.
Okay, we'll get you down here, and the first thing we heard, the golf tournament last Saturday had to be canceled, of course, because of the weather. Did you get the pickleball in?
We got everything in. Everything was in except the golf. Now, we did have a function with the. We did have a function related to that, and we had a brunch at the clubhouse.
Right.
And that was about 30 people attended that, and then we went back and did the rest of it. But Tad, before I talk about that event,
sure,
there was another thing that happened on the 14th of April. That was the last time I was on here. I said ditch the gum, and I did, so I ditched it now. So that But anyway, the Lone Chimney Films and Ken Spurgeon received the award as the best docudrama from of 2018, and this is a picture of the award.
Wow.
The award that was received, and that was accepted by Ken Spurgeon. But we had Sharon Black, who was a writer on the movie, and Mary Latin, who was a historian, did the research.
Sure.
You know both of those.
Yeah.
And so they attended representing People's Heartland Foundation and Home on the Range, because Mitch or Tami or I or Mark McLean, none of us could go.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was a super event. It had people there. The MC was Sam Elliott and his wife Catherine Ross, and then Michael Martin Murphy was there. So this is kind of the Emmy Awards for Western music and for Western drama like this. And so this was one of the highest honors that the Lone Chimney could receive, and the representation and the conversations that were heard just reaffirm what they had to do or what they wanted to do with this story. The background of it is that the song was in 1934 was Franklin Delano Roosevelt wanted it played, said it was his favorite. Well, then the Goodwins from Arizona claimed they had written it and stopped the play. And at that time, they sued for $500,000, $500,000 in 34. I don't know how many million that would be worth today. And
That'd be a little bit, yeah.
But it had also been big bucks in that day for NBC and all the others that were playing it, Bing Crosby, Roy Rogers, and so. But they had to stop play. And if you get to see the movie, have you seen the movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I won't say too much more about it. But anyway, that's where the movie starts, and so it tells the story. And it's a tremendous promotion for our area, and particularly for Smith Center and for Smith County. And there's two key things in it that True Brees was still alive, and he lived in Smith Center until 1950 or 50-something, I think, 2 or 3. But he was alive yet and knew Brewster Higley.
Sure, yeah.
And so he was the connection, and that kind of what we call the linchpin or the key log in it. And then the other thing was that just a sidebar of it, that I had a little bit to do with it. I wasn't in it, but anyway, I had a little bit to do with it. But I had a grandnephew, Austin Allen, who got to play the part of the individual that was shot himself in the foot, and they had to be taken there to be treated. And Austin said, well, his friends that at Cloud County at that time said, well, but you didn't even have a speaking part. And I said, well, Austin, do you understand that your part was one of the key ones in there? Had your character not shot himself in the foot, they would never have discovered My Western Home. Yeah. So you're another those key things, and so this is what we like to do with it. But but it is a great film, and but anyway, and we recognize that. We're going to have some other thing, a couple of other things. One I'm going to talk about here at the end. Some other things in regard to that film coming up. One I can't make public yet, but the other one I'll talk about after we talk about the golf tournament.
Okay, let's talk about the golf tournament.
Okay, well, the golf tournament, it's pretty hard to play golf with in a whiteout blizzard and wind chills of down around 0 and so forth. So that was called off already on Friday because we had the celebrities that were going to come. We have a sponsor from Russell that flies to Kansas City and brings them out. Was going to bring Anthony Sherman and a friend out. Well, even if it hadn't have snowed, the wind would have been too high to fly their airplane. So we called that off all on Friday, but then somebody said, they all kept calling and saying, well, you're going to call off the rest? I said, no, we're not going to call off the rest of it. Part of the people were already in town on Friday, and everything was going to be inside, and so we were going to go ahead with it because there was no way to reschedule it. And so that, but it went off well. The only the dinner and the movie had a low attendance because of the weather.
Yeah, sure.
But the pickleball, it was a huge success. We had 37 teams.
Wow.
We had 37 teams, 2 to a team, and there were 8 courts set up in the gymnasium in Smith Center, and there were 32 people playing at a time, and we had the professionals from Kansas City who first demonstrated it, and then they guided and ran the tournament, and it all came off on time, and it worked out. And the interesting thing about it, we had so many comments after it, and I know this is appropriate for Phillips County and Phillipsburg too, because you now have a court.
Right.
But we had grandfathers partnering with granddaughters. We had parents playing their children. We had athletes playing each other, and tennis players playing it that said, well, we're getting a little too old for tennis now to move around. This was fun. And the thing that came away with it is we're going to actually try to promote it. I think I am anyway, to see if I can find a way to do it, to actually get it developed and going in Smith Center. I have an idea from that. I have an idea for that. I always have ideas for something.
Sure.
But anyway, we're looking for somebody to head that up. But it just was a great time. And Tami and Mitch were the prime movers for that. Just some samples of the awards that they came up with. The best recruiters, or the winners of the competitive division, were Truett Coleman and Lewis Frazier. They're two former football players from the Redmond, and then now they played the professionals for the championship, but the professionals weren't eligible for a prize. So anyway, so Truett, but they still did play well the whole time. We had best recruiters. Somebody remember Dana when she was Finch and played basketball, and she played for Creighton, and then she's back in town. Her husband is Tim Weltmer. And they recruited 10 teams just by themselves, the two of them.
Wow.
And so they were the best recruiters. Best outfits for Brock Hutchinson and Tug Kieswetter. They played in wrestling uniforms. The most courageous sausage award went to Star Jacobs, because she was the very first person. I'm not going to mention her age or what grade she was in school, but she was the very first person to sign up for it, and she's a tennis player.
Yeah.
And so she then had her friend. That her partner was Linda Pletcher, and that was the day of her 50th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
So those two, they got the most courageous, and then Lift the Spirit, of course, was Truett and Lewis. And then they had a big deal award, and that went to Jacob Sass, and then Linda Pletcher for doing her part. Yeah. And then we had then they gave an award then for. The Home on the Range Pioneer Spirit Award for traveling the furthest. We had Bob Levy from Lexington, Missouri, that is a friend of Mitch's, that was a college coach from years back and now runs a training store. And then we had Austin Woodard from Joplin, Missouri, that drove up. He's a hero. He's supposed to send me his story. He's a hero from the Joplin tornado a few years ago. He was a first responder, and so he has a story about how he held the hand of a small child whose mother had covered the child and died as a result of the tornado. Wow. And he was holding the hand of the child till he had some help to get that off. So he's got a great story. And then when they wound up, then he and his family run a mortuary. So this was friends and children and people he knew. So one he was in as a first responder. Then they had to go through it again, and they had 6 teams at their funeral home. They had 8 funerals a day for a period of time for the people who died in that tornado. But that's another side story. But anyway, the tournament is a success, and every one of our Home on the Range events have never been a failure. Now, we've had some. You were up there in the heat, and you were up there. We've had the extremely hot weather. Now we've had a blizzard. But it's all because of the work of people like Mitch and Tami Holthus that work the sponsors. Mm-hmm. Now, this event made us money. Now, it did not make us money. I say make us money. Made money for the foundation, for the cabin. Mm-hmm. And so it was profitable. Now, the only thing that happens, we lost probably $3,000 by not being able to have but we don't always reach our goals. The weather doesn't always cooperate. But we reach our goals because they're always sponsored. Mm-hmm. We never, our charity, never from the time we started as a trust to now at the foundation, we never have any risk capital in a project. If we can't find underwriters, then we don't put it on.
Sure.
And the other thing with this one, with these underwriters, we had 27 financial underwriters, and all but 3 of them were outside Smith County. And that was and Mitch has said, I think we shared on here before, that Mitch has said, Dad, you wear out local people sponsoring the home on the range. He said, I want to do this tournament and bring in outsiders. And we also brought back graduates of USD 237. And then to have this cross section, so the weekend was a huge success, even though we had to call off the golf. And so that and then we're always we that night after it was over, everybody was exhausted, but Mitch and Tami and I were talking about next year. So we're working on next year.
Well, the weather hopefully will be good.
Well, the weather and the scheduling is really hard because you somebody said, well, you were too early in April. Well, you go later. We also ran into 2 proms. See that we had the 37 teams. We would have had 10 more from Smith Center if the Chansonniers hadn't been on tour, because football players and basketball players make up the Chansonniers, and they would have played. Right. And I know that we would have had some from Phillipsburg and possibly Thunder Ridge, but they were having their proms. And so you get any later, then you start to get into graduation. So it's really tough in a small town like this to schedule something in an area like that we don't conflict. But we'll keep on working on it, and then Mitch has to schedule around the draft. That's his thing that comes up. He has to get ready for that. And but anyway, we want to thank everybody who participated and who sponsored and did all of that. And you, Tad, for your support of it and asked me to come back again. And then this is one thing about what we're doing now. We couldn't show the award on radio, could we? We could talk about it. But see, now you got a leg up here. Right, we're live and we're live. Yeah. There you go. So I really appreciate it. Mitch and Tami did too. We really appreciate your sponsors that make this available, because I don't know how. I think you have 900 likes, I think, or something now, and I don't know how many views you get on a given day, but just think how far out it's going. And then if we can get people to share it, then I share it, then that goes to all my friends. And I don't know how much you kind of get, but if I post something on here's the thing about this Facebook and the internet. If I post something on Home on the Range, I average 100 to 150 looks an hour for the first 3 hours. Wow, yeah. I'll get 450. And when we did the pickleball thing, we had 2,500 that looked at it. So people read it. How many came, we don't know. But you know you're reaching the people with this what you're doing here with this. It
makes me feel good because I enjoy doing it.
I haven't heard anybody tell you that, but anyway, I work with the PR and the people that I work with all the time. I have so many people who have helped me over the years, and someone's always said, "Well, ElDean, you can probably slow down and quit." And I said, "No. Do you understand? Do you understand that every time we have an event, I have new sponsors, I have new people that come in and respond to me or to Mitch or to Mark. I have an obligation to them to keep on doing the best that we can, to keep on, as you do now. You have sponsors now. You have the responsibility to make this show. That's why old guys like you and I keep on doing what we're doing. Yeah. So many people have helped us over the years. We have all these responsibilities.
I love, it keeps you busy. As you say, you get older, the busier you are, the better it is.
Yep, you have to have, men in particular. Yeah. Women can stay busy, but the man has to have something in the morning, to get up in the morning and have something that has a goal, and then go to bed at night and look in the mirror and say, Lord, I didn't get it all done, but I gave it my best shot. And but anyway, I would the last thing I'd want to talk about, and then I'd answer your questions. We had alluded to a DVD of the movie being out, and it was supposed to have been available this past week on the 14th when we coincide with all the other stuff. But it's something in the closed captioning or something has gotten delayed. So Ken Spurgeon called last Saturday right in the middle of the brunch and said, well, that he would like, Lone Chimney would like to do a special event, like a premiere of the video. And I expect the first one will be in Wichita. That's where they're headquartered. But that would be the next event, which is not yet scheduled, that we'll have up here. I'm going to work with City of Athol if I can, because they want to show the movie. I'm going to work with the City of Athol in the morning. We would have the premiere at the cabin. Mm-hmm. People come up and they could buy a DVD, and then somebody would be there to autograph it that has something to do with the movie, and then in the afternoon do a demonstration pickleball tournament and show the movie at the that'd be in the historic community hall, then in the historic church in Athol, show the movie.
Sure.
And so that's up here. I haven't got that all done yet. And but anyway, that's our next thing.
Well, you keep in touch, and we'll get that.
We'll work on that. Well, then my other thing too, there's actually two things with the Alzheimer's that I'm working on. One is what I'm working on locally with the committee and the wellness center, and the other is what the overall for me. So one's a program of what I'm doing, and then my testing. And then the other would be what we're doing.
When that's all done, we're going to have you on that. Too.
We'll have. Yeah, I'm working on that presentation.
Okay.
So yeah, so anyway, it's been pretty good. You had any questions for me?
Well, a comment, I guess, because you pretty much covered what I was going to ask you about, but it was really fun having Mitch and Tami here. I could have gone on 2 hours. It's not very often you get someone who's in the sports business. Give you some inside stuff. I could have spent all day talking to him.
Yeah, he has. That's what we were saying. That was one of the comments that came out, that the brunch has always been a part of the golf.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the comments that came out, since we had the great attendance in the blizzard that came out.
Yeah.
Of course, we had free. We had free Bloody Marys and free screwdrivers. Mm-hmm. Mitch has a sponsor that is a liquor distributor. We had that too, but we had the cinnamon rolls and all that, and they were provided. But one of the things that came about, they believed that part of our golf, that we would have that brunch and have it, the brunch with the people who played in the morning when they were done, and before the people who played in the afternoon, and Mitch would do a little short program just on the NFL, just on the draft, because this Austin Woodard is the one who assists him in doing his research for that.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's another that you go on with that, and then you and I, we go back so far too. That I always said that we have a hard time shutting it off. So anyway, but we hope that people listen and they appreciate it. And I don't know if you get any comments back or not, but I know I do. I hear it.
That's good. And I went out there last week to this. I saw you over in Kansas. I said, let's drive over there, and I did. And it's amazing. You can. I thought we're going to be able to get in. You can get in. And it's go in and actually see it. You have a lot of plans coming up to make. Oh yeah, that's another program too. Is that the comprehensive plan we have for out there, because now the people go out there. Actually, the cabin site is about 13 acres from the that's been developed from the cabin down to the 90 road. But we're now going to have 55 acres, the entire length of Beaver Creek, and that's going to be the hike and bike and the they're always talking about these difficult 3K runs and up and down and over the hills and through the creek and then nature walks and all that. I mean, that's another whole thing too. So anyway, but it's exciting, for you and like for me too, to still have projects that we can work on and people listen to us, and they may walk away and ignore us, but they're at least kind enough to listen while we talk. So anyway, yeah. Well, that's great on the award there, and you keep us informed on the next big. Yeah, you might put that up there again, and. Where are you going to put that? Are you going to put that out at the cabin? I think I'm going to put it in the cabin. I think it should go out there. I have a reluctance. You have a hard time with things like this, Ted, in that I have some pictures and some awards out there, and that when you have a historical property like that, I didn't want any signs first. Yeah, sure. And then we did the movie. Yeah. And we took them out for the movie and had them out for a couple of days while they were filming up there. And we have a security camera. Without the signs, people walked in and walked back out. Yeah. And so they're looking for explanations when they go in. But something like this, I've got to decide whether I want to do this, because it is large enough, it'll kind of take away from things. So I don't know yet where I'm going to put it. Okay. Eventually, we'll have an attendance center where this kind of stuff will be displayed, but that's another story too. So, all right, thanks for coming over. Appreciate your time. You be in touch. I want to talk about the Alzheimer's and, you bet. And what else are coming on over there. I do appreciate you coming over here and telling us about it. And Mitch and Tami also, I really enjoyed that. So we'll We'll see. Keep
Always
in touch.
enjoy it and appreciate your support.
Okay, all right,
You bet.
very good.
You bet.
Thank you. All right, we're going to talk with Dave and Gary in a minute here. Reminder that the Tadpoll brought to you by all your friends at the Farmers State Bank in Phillipsburg, where interest begins the moment you enter the door. Interest in your member FDIC. Mapes and Miller, it's not what you make, but what you keep. Mid-America Real Estate, providing the best homes in the area for over 40 years. Blossoms of Butterflies, making beautiful flowers a part of your life. Sign Solutions, your one-stop sign shop, so much more. Madison Motors, in business for over 70 years, and Rogers & Associates, your local trusted choice agency, making possible to do things like this every Thursday morning, which we really do appreciate. Well, we have with us Dave and Gary this morning, and it's that time of year when you're going to be working Saturday. Might rain.
Well,
Might,
bring your
we hope.
raincoats and your caps.
Yeah.
We'll take the rain.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we need the rain.
We'd
Yeah,
be
we-
glad to give up the workday if we could get some good rain, because
Yeah.
that would help much. And, later on, we could always schedule another one if needed be.
Okay, let's talk about how many years you've been doing this, and now we're talking about before the city has their citywide cleanup. You guys go out with volunteers, go out and help people that can't maybe get stuff to the curb, right?
Can't get stuff to the curb. We mow lawns, we trim bushes, just a little bit of everything. And then if we can't get it to where the city will pick it up, we usually have somebody with pickups, and so we haul it out for them.
Sure. Okay, now what are some things the city can't pick up here? I mean,
Well, I'm one of the things.
Well, I don't think they can't pick up hazardous waste.
what,
You know,
right?
That's
yeah,
what they
tires.
did.
They can't pick
That's
up
what
tires.
they did yesterday. No tires or anything like that. But the last few years, we haven't had to haul anything to the landfill because the city. We just take everything to the curb, and the city picks it up during their cleanup week.
Do you know how long you've been doing this? How many years?
Well, Gary knows more than I do because he was involved before I was.
Yeah, and I can't remember. We've been doing it a long, long
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
And a lot of people have really appreciated it over the years. And it helps we always have fun when we get together to do it. There's the people are working
Sure.
together and stuff like that, and you can get a lot done and just have fun doing it. So like last year, we worked on that one little house down there on the east of the South Grade School.
Right.
Trimmed and cleaned everything up there, and that was a total disaster. And some of the city crews have even been working on that.
Mhm.
And we hauled off about everything but the house, and it probably should have gone.
Yeah. Okay. Did you work one year work on a bunch of trees down around the South Grade? Was there something there?
Yeah, 2 years. We worked down in behind where the little ball field where
Yeah,
they used to
right.
play ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, we cleaned that draw up and had it looking really good. And then they moved everything out to the new ball field, and so that's not used down there. And so we've just let that go.
Okay. So
We hauled tons
I
of
know-
trees off of
I
that.
know you did. That was a major project. And
It was. We cleaned out that draw really good because you get a good hard rain, the water comes off the pavement up above on the north end, and it comes boiling down through there. And the trash would build up and pile up, and
Yeah.
we had a couple beaver dams down there. And, well, not really, but but no. But the group that we've had, and we've been mostly the same ones. Once in a while, we'll get some new people in, but they've been really conscientious about doing the best job they can and trying to help the people that really need help. Some of the older ladies have trouble. They can't go out and trim a bush or something like that.
Yeah.
So we make sure it gets done.
okay. So you don't go in the house. So did you go in the house to bring stuff out, or
Well, if they need something hauled out to the curb,
okay?
we would go in the house for that, but we don't do any work
Right,
inside
that's
the
what I
house.
thought. You don't.
We're not housekeepers.
Nothing like
Not
that.
going
Yeah.
to get into that.
We want that to be made clear. We are not housekeepers.
Yeah.
We are just there for the folks that need something done primarily on the outside of the house, in the yard, the bushes and things like that.
Sure.
And it's amazing. It seems
What's
like
this-
every year we just get less and less stuff to do because we've been doing it so long.
Sure, well, there's not that
Everybody's
stuff
got
there
time
anymore.
up, yeah.
It always amazed me, though, the next week there will be stuff on the curb. There's a lot of, I've always have seen TVs on the curb, and all that kind of stuff, and monitors and all that stuff. What's the strangest thing you've done? What was really a strange thing you did?
Remember that time we was called to go to that house, and they had this big old dummy that didn't want any more to carry out and get rid of it, and we got about halfway out there, and it was Tad Phelps. We woke him up. That's probably the strangest thing we had. You get into all kinds of things, but
Sure.
Most of the people are very, very thankful to have it done, and most of them are elderly folks that can't do it themselves.
Yeah. Well, and but you do trim hedges and stuff like that. How's it looking? Have you had some calls for this Saturday? Now it's this Saturday is when you have to do it. So if you want it done, contact. Who do they contact?
BR5, Randy
Conrad.
785-208-0079. Myself, Gary, at 543-6476, and Dave at 543-2491. 0079 with a 28 in front of it, 6476 or 2491.
Okay. And have you had some people contact you yet? Or you needing some work?
I've had one call, is all that I've had.
Okay.
And this is a twofold thing. We need workers to show up at the Wesleyan Church at 8:00 on Saturday morning, and then we also need people to call us if they want work done. So it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, and it's interesting, the folks that show up, they all enjoy doing it, but it seems like there's been fewer of those each year, but there's been less work. We meet down there at the Wesleyan Church at 8:00 in the morning, look and see what needs to be done, then Dave gives the assignments to which groups go where.
Do they have to? Can they just show up? They don't have to know ahead of time. The volunteers. They don't have to call you and say, "I'm going to be there." Just show up at 8:00 at the Wesleyan Church.
No.
I've always wanted to do that, but I always had my sports talk on a Saturday morning. By the time I was through there, you guys a lot of times would come in there and have lunch. After you got through with your work and stuff.
Well, that's the thing that we have done. We get done with the work, and then we go somewhere and have lunch and talk about it. Then we have a real good time
Well, I
there
think
discussing things.
Not only are you helping the community and the people, but it's a fellowship kind of thing, isn't it?
Yes, very much so. Very much so. It's enjoyable. We work hard for half a day,
Yeah.
and then we go eat lunch, and I think everybody enjoys it when they come out and help.
Now, if it's really inclement, how are you going? What are you going to do? Is it going to have to be really, really raining hard for you not to do it, or
Well,
I'm putting the monkey on your back here a little bit.
Well, if it's wet, that's not very good conditions to be working
you can't mow,
outside.
so
You can't mow, and you really can't trim anything. And I know we've got some stumps to try to get out, and that's not going to be very nice to dig in either.
Stumps.
So, yeah.
You do that?
We've done it,
If-
yeah. I
no,
mean,
really?
it's amazing what our people can do. If something needs to be done, we do it. I mean, and then Howard King will be here this weekend, whether we work or not, and he's our Paul Bunyan of the bunch.
Yeah.
Get Howard and his chainsaws going and look out. But
Yeah.
yeah, stumps, you just get down in and dig around and everything, and start cutting and hacking down there, and then have
Okay.
been known to hook a chain on it and pull.
All right. I didn't realize it. Wow. Just making everything big tree trunks. You mess with big ones.
Well,
We
we
don't
have
do
to
redwoods or anything.
we have to look at it first, and if we
Yeah,
can't
sure,
do it,
right.
we'll
Well,
tell
I'm just saying that. Yeah.
we'll tell
it's
the
too
owner
big, really,
that's not something we can do. That
Sure, I
they'll
understand.
have to call Solid A to come in
Yeah.
and take care of it or something.
Sure.
But we'll do what we can.
Okay. Well, that's great that you do that. What are those numbers again? And
Randy Conrad is 785-208-0079, And Gary's number is 543-6476. And my wife and I's number is 543-2491. And so we need to hear from you if you have work to be done. If you want to work, just show up at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. And we'll probably meet rain or shine because we need to see what we have. We never know till we get there on Saturday morning what work we have, because Gary gets calls, I get calls, and Randy gets calls.
Okay.
And then
Then you're
we never know the workers that we're going to have until Saturday morning. So there's a lot of unknowns.
and there's no charge for this, right?
No.
charge.
See, that's what's great. It's
You
small communities, helping out their neighbors.
It is interesting with no charges, but people will donate money so we can continue the project, because sometimes it takes money to get things fixed up.
Yeah.
And,
So if a volunteer out there, what did they bring? If they have saws, they bring it, or how? And I know you got a thing on that about if the person not used to a saw, you don't get them out there cutting trees.
Well,
they
we-
don't know how to use it right.
We don't use anybody's chainsaw except our own.
Okay, yeah.
And so that's the way that works. And we have been very lucky. The city has supported us 100%. They usually have at least one, if not two, city workers, and
That's great. Yeah.
their trucks, their backhoes. We couldn't do this if we didn't have the help of the city.
Okay. Well,
2 years ago, we did a house down in the northeast part of town, down by the railroad tracks. I mean, there were trees, there were limbs, bushes, everything. And when we got done, we had quite a few working down there. When we got done, boy, it looked nice.
Right.
And the owners were just dumbfounded.
Yeah.
And I think the neighbors were also.
okay.
But if you want to help Tad's number is BR549.
It's what's that?
BR549.
Yeah.
That goes back. That goes back a
It
ways.
does, sure
It
does.
goes
It
back
goes
a
back a
way.
long,
Well, that's
long
how
way.
long we've been doing
We're
this.
probably only
That's
three
right.
people that know what we're talking about here,
Well, Dave,
You know what we're talking about? No, she had no idea what we're talking about.
Dave and I have sitting out there talking about this, how long we've been doing it, and neither one of us can remember how many years. It's
Yeah.
been a lot of years.
It started with Life Fest. You remember Life Fest?
Yeah.
And
Tuck Boys.
that was the outgrowth of Caring Community Volunteers.
Right.
And so, however long ago Life Fest took place, that's
Wow.
how long we've been doing this.
Okay. Well, I hope you have a good day. I'm trying to shake your hand.
Oh, I thought you were pointing at Dave. That's my old buddy, Tad.
Dave, yeah. We
Thanks,
both
Dad.
go back. We all go back a little ways there on
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
Tad'd be driving home from the game, and he'd try to hand me the steering wheel.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's when I slept best, when I was behind the wheel.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, all right.
Yep. One thing.
We hope, it's a two-edged sword. We hope we need the rain, but we like to have
Yeah.
the work done. So I don't know. What do you say?
Well, you definitely want the rain, because this is something we can always do later on if
Yeah.
need be.
Do you ever do it another weekend? Can you?
Yeah, that's we always had a policy before that if we couldn't do it this weekend, we'd do it the next weekend.
Okay, good.
And so that's
Okay.
kind of what we'll do. And we'll meet on Saturday morning and
Make that determination.
decide who has how much work we have,
Sure.
and then we can kind of go from
Okay,
there.
all right, very good. Well, good luck Saturday morning, and hope things go well. And you should be commended for every year you're doing this and getting things done, and it's appreciated. Every year it comes around, I've got a lot of stuff, but I just don't around to get it done. Out on the curb. It's
I've been in your house. You want us to come over and start?
yeah. Okay.
I remember one time I thought we was going to bring a deer home and have it in your house.
The deer. Well,
When you was driving that night,
yeah.
I says, Dad, a deer, where? He's back there now. He had just about hit me in the windshield.
Anyway, thanks for doing what you do
Thank
and
you.
everything. We appreciate it coming on. We hope that people get in touch with you.
Thank you for everything you do in the
Okay,
community and
well,
the area.
All right, I
Who's
appreciate
that good-looking young lady over there trying to get
she's
us
got
out
to
of
open the
here?
door for you.
All righty.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. We'll
We have
see
a door
you.
lady instead of
Yeah.
a doorman.
Next, I think we're going to be talking with Angie. Is Angie out there? Okay, Angie is. The Phillips County Health System is also making it possible for us to come your way at the Tadpoll, Olive Bowie Memorial Chapel. Stephen E. Rust, your State Farm agent. Sonic Drive-In, like us on Facebook to see the Sonic deals. Phillipsburg Chamber and Main Street where the roads are paved with opportunity. Farmers and Ranchers Outlet and J&R IVAC are there. We're going to be talking about some. I know we're going to be talking about the car show, the car thing. I know we're going to be talking about tomorrow night. So
Yes.
since that's first, let's talk about the night out for the ladies.
All right, Girls Night Out, Phillipsburg Chamber and Main Street. Okay, so Girls Night Out tomorrow night, April 20th, 4 to 8. Shop, shop, shop. We want to get out there, rain or shine. That's what we're going to have. We have some great businesses I want to talk about, Blossoms and Butterflies, and they will have the Girl Scouts there selling cookies.
Cookies.
There
All
at
right.
Blossoms. The Broken Board, Art of A, the Roland J Boutique and Salon, and they will have inside their store Shore to Shore Travel and Paparazzi Jewelry.
Okay.
And then we got Sign Solutions, Farmers and Ranchers Outlet, and she will have Unique, which is makeup.
Okay, I didn't know.
No, you probably didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
The Gallery, Hairs to You, will have, they're going to have Avon in there. And so Myrna's going to be in there. The Shepherd's Mill, and they're going to have the Zion Youth Group in there selling raffle tickets and a napkin. Chance to win a napkin. Westbrook Salon and Boutique, Hometown Grounds, and Scott McCoppin. Midwest Family Health, and they're going to have Emmanuel Lutheran Youth Group in there making parfaits and selling them.
Ooh, wow,
So, yeah.
okay.
So if you like yogurt, graham crackers, and fruit, go in and
Okay.
get a parfait. Whitmer Drug, Amber Salon and Spa, and she's going to have the 31 bags in there, so she'll have Kim in there. Phillipsburg Liquor and Wine, and then down here at the East Bank at First National Bank and Trust, at the stoplight, BSP, which is Beta Sigma Phi, they're going to be selling those bags, those reusable bags. They're like a plastic bag, but not a plastic bag. They're really cool. So,
Are they clear?
no.
Okay.
They have designs on
They have designs
Okay.
on them, and
Different
they're
colors.
really neat. Really great graduation gifts, So
Sure.
this weekend, think graduation, think Mother's Day, think all that kind of stuff. Everyone's having a great sale. And then to end it all, we're gonna have the party at the Branding Iron 2, the after party, and Golden Plains Credit Union has some really cool things planned there. So it's gonna be a fun night.
Is it a casino? A little bit of a
Yes.
casino thing? All
Yes.
right, all
So
right.
we got cards. I don't know how to play blackjack or poker or any of that kind of stuff. But we're gonna have a couple tables set up. So if anybody wants to be
Sure.
play that. I don't know if they can find a person to be in charge of that or not, but it's not going to be me because I wouldn't know. They'd be winning all the time. So, and then we'll have Peggy's going to decorate in there, and then we're going to have specials on drinks and appetizers, and just some really great time for the girls' night out. 300 ladies' bags. So we'll have 100 at 4 o'clock. 100 at 5 o'clock, and 100 at 6 o'clock.
And where are those going to be at the
In
different?
the event house,
The event house.
on the courthouse square.
The Santa's house.
Santa's house, the Easter house, the witch's house, the everything house.
Angie's house.
Angie's house. Angie's house. So, yes, it seems like I'm in that house a lot. So it's pretty cool. But that's what's going on tomorrow night. So please come out, support all these businesses. They worked really hard. There's some neat things in the bags, and we're just going to have a good old time.
Okay.
So,
I asked you this last time. Did guys ever show up?
well, sometimes, and I asked them, and I
kind of think not.
we still need to get together and figure out a guys' night out.
I had it. Someone there. What was it? I saw some. They have a guys' night out.
Really?
They had a name for it. What was the name? I'll have to think about that because
Okay.
it was a pretty good name
Let
for
me
guys.
know what you think, what you come up with. So
yeah, I
that'd be
will.
great. I'll let Tami take it away.
Okay, now also this weekend the car cruise.
Well, we are postponing that until next weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, because
That
of
makes-
the weather.
Okay, all right.
So yes.
Talk about that a little bit, though. Who's going to be here? What are you going to be doing there?
Well, we're going to start up at the Sonic, up by the Sonic, and they're going to have a brown bag special, and we will have classic cars. There's no registration fee. We'll have the car show from 6 to 7 p.m., and then the cruise along State Street from 7 to 9 p.m.
Okay. And that's been postponed to
Yes,
a week
next
from
week.
this Saturday
So
night.
April
Okay.
28th
Okay.
is when we're going to try that one and see if Mother Nature's got it all figured out yet or not. So we don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah,
We
we're
hope
hoping
so.
for sunshine and dry roads and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit
Well,
better
that-
weather.
Okay, so, well, maybe we we'll have you on next week if you come over next week and
Perfect.
talk about that, bring that up to date. Okay, so the car cruise for this weekend has been postponed for a week, and we'll let you know more
Yes.
about that
Yes.
next week. Okay, what else? I know Riverless Festival.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
I'll
you
let,
have to-
I'll let Tami talk about the barn quilt contest real quick.
You know, I just found out last week, you'd see these things on the barn, you know, and that comes from Pennsylvania, I think. And then, I didn't know they called them barn quilts. So,
Oh,
so I learned something. So barn quilts, and what about the barn quilt? Here?
Well, we've had a countywide project where we have been putting barn quilts in each one of our communities. And so when we were going to make a map with it, well, we played around a little bit last year with a smaller barn quilt with our planters that we put out in the summertime
Yeah.
that the city puts out, and possibly putting on a 2x2 barn quilt on each one of the planters.
That's
Doesn't
neat.
that look
Yeah,
pretty?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So we have decided we're going to have a barn quilt contest, and we're going to have people submit their designs. It'd be a 2x2 barn quilt that we would then go over and have judging on. And so hopefully by Memorial Weekend, we would have these barn quilts on the planters
Sure, yeah.
throughout our
That's great.
downtown.
Yeah.
and it's not going to cost them anything because we're going to supply the wood or the boards. We're going to supply the paint. So it would cost them their time and their labor. But other than that, I mean, we're going to, and then they're going to be our barn quilts so that we can display them every year. Or we thought we could even kind of, change it up a little bit and do different ones each year. But we have a total of 16. that
16
we-
is what you'd be
Yeah.
doing. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so if anyone's interested in that, I'll let.
Yeah, please contact our office at 785-543-2321, and then we'll take it from there.
So these are the ones that are kind of. I don't know if you can
Okay. And this,
see this.
so the person doing it, he can do what he or she can whatever they want to do. Just this
well,
equipment.
they can submit the design,
Oh,
and
I
then
see,
we'll
okay.
kind of see.
Yeah.
And it has to be
I see.
kind of. We want it.
Barn quilting.
know,
It has to
yeah.
be barn quilting kind of thing. Okay.
Well, and there's
Right.
different things you can go on, like a search and look and see what kind of thing you
There's a
want.
million
to wear.
different
Oh,
designs
there's
out there, yeah.
tons.
Pinterest is always good
Yeah,
to go
there's
to.
tons of them. Like we have, this one's in Gretna. I mean, we just have them all over. Our Phillipsburg one, of course, is on the Golden Years Center up there.
Okay.
It's
Oh,
up
I
there.
wondered how that guy. I saw that the other day.
Just magic.
I see. Yeah, I saw the Glade one.
Yes, yes, and Kerwin.
Yeah, but I
So
wondered.
each town has one.
Okay,
It's,
sure.
we're waiting on Long Island's to get put up, but she's getting it ready, and then we'll have all
Wow,
of them.
that's
So
great.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I wondered how that showed. I'm glad I figured that out now. What that
Yeah.
was on the north wall there. Right, okay.
Yep.
And so, what do they do then? If they want to get involved, who do they contact? Either one of you?
Yes,
Yep.
they can call
Okay.
our office and
Okay.
or
Or come in.
email or any way.
The planners, when are they going out? It seems
sometime
like
in-
every weekend, it's cold or something.
Yeah, sometime in May
Okay.
they'll be getting out, and then probably whoever's the First National Bank and Trust people, they go and they plant the plants, so they're kind of waiting until after the frost, and then
Yeah.
we'll have these up because we
So
don't
maybe
want to.
July, the way things are going. I didn't, anyway,
It might be.
Okay, so that's a neat deal. That the barn quilt, and you see them in a lot of Pennsylvania down there. A lot of all the barns out there have those up on it.
And on our trail, I mean, we have these in the different towns and stuff, but also if people are interested in being on the trail, and if they have them on their house, sometimes you see them on people's
Sure,
houses.
right, yeah.
So they can also be on our little trail map.
Okay.
And then that way people can just drive around. And then when they go and they look at all of them, and they can take a selfie of with the barn quilt or whatever, and they can come back to the office, and we got something for them.
Okay.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Wow.
So,
All
yeah.
right. Phew, a lot of things going on. And
That's
what
right.
the Riverless Festival is not that
Riverless
far
Festival.
away.
No, it's June 2nd, Saturday, June 2nd. And, of course, at the Courthouse Square. Free admission. We got the hospital's going to be doing their 5K run. Turtle races are always a big hit. Great food, music, kids games. We got virtual reality coming back, the roller coaster.
Yeah.
So he's coming back. We got the car cruise, arts and craft booth. We have... what else do we have? We're not doing the talent show this year. We are going to try to find some bands, but we do have a DJ, so there will be music up there. We're just not doing
Sure,
the talent show.
okay.
So it's just going to change things up a little bit. We'd like to have more kids games. We have the inflatables coming, of course.
Oh, sure.
And just, the shopping all day at different places. They have the shopping. It's just going to be a good old time. So
Rivers Festival, it's coming June 2nd. Oh,
June 2nd.
It's not too far away, is it?
No, it's not. It seems like we have one thing, and then we have another thing, and I'm constantly telling Tami, okay, we got to do this, and she's probably like looking at me like, I'm going to choke you, but it's okay, right? Okay.
All right. Well,
So,
And if they
again,
want-
no car cruise this weekend, but it'll be a weekend. We'll have her back in next week to talk about that, and of course, tomorrow night the ladies
having fun.
start in.
That's
Have
right.
fun, all right.
I did want to tell about the Riverless Festival. If you'd like to have a craft booth, we have the sign-up sheets in the office, and we also will probably try to get them out on our site, and also for the food booths.
Okay.
So we have a few food booths going on right now, but if you'd like to do anything, raise some money. I mean,
Sure.
it doesn't cost a lot to do this, so it's really benefiting you if you want to give up that Saturday from 10 to 4. I mean,
Okay.
it's all
Very good.
about the people.
Okay. And I'm sure we'll be hearing more about this on this, right?
You think so? I do think so. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate
Oh, I got one more thing.
Okay.
So I want to thank everyone who helped with the post prom. We didn't get to have.
I would ask you about what. You didn't have the walk-in thing.
We
did
had
you?
the walk-in at the high school,
At the high
which
school.
was beautiful.
Okay.
And so it turned out really well, and Rachel streamed it and stuff, so you can watch it on my Phillips County Online. And there's lots of pictures and everything. The kids looked amazing. We had a great time. When you have that kind of situation, and you just kind of like, okay, what are we gonna do?
Sure.
Everybody pulled together, worked out. It was great. The kids were all saying they had so much fun this year. More fun
Post-prom went
than
well and everything.
post-prom went amazing. It was just a great time. So I want to thank everyone that has supported that, and let's keep it up.
Idea. It's a great idea, the post-prom
Yes,
is. And
yeah.
I'd almost go back to school so I could go to one of those things.
I thought you were going to come out and ride the bull.
I forgot about it.
Oh!
I don't think. What do you have liability insurance? Because if I got
You
on
have
that.
to sign a waiver.
Oh, okay,
So
all right.
you have to do that. But there was, an obstacle
Sure.
course. There was this other thing this thingy bobber went around, and you had to
Yeah.
jump or you had to duck down, and so the kids
Yeah.
really liked that one.
Okay.
And then there was a jousting thing where you got to hit each
Right,
other
yeah,
and try
you're
to
trying
get
to knock-
off.
yeah,
knock each other off. The money
Yeah.
thing. What is it called? Money.
Grabber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Money booth. And so the kids got to win some money. Some of the kids would walk by and they're like, I won $42. And then some
Really?
walk by, I won $1,
Okay.
And so it was kind of interesting. And then we had the Phillipsburg Chamber Main Street had their photo booth
Sure,
there. So we
okay.
got to take pictures and watch the kids. And then the food was amazing. So the ladies
Wow.
did a great job. And then we also had bingo. So the kids had a good time. Parents had a good time. Lots of help. So I just want to say thanks.
Well, I forgot about the bull.
Yeah.
Well,
I was looking for you. I wanted to take a picture. All right. Thanks,
okay,
Tad.
thank you, both of you. I'm sure we'll see you next Thursday, right?
I'm sure you will.
Okay, all right, fine. Thanks for coming in. All right, I think we're going to be talking now about disc golf. Is that right? Okay, we're going to be talking about disc golf this morning. A reminder, the program brought to you by Phillips County Health Systems, all of Bovey Memorial Chapel. Stephen E. Rest, your State Farm agent. Sonic Drive-In, like us on Facebook to see our Sonic deals. Phillipsburg Chamber and Main Street, where the roads are paved with opportunity. Farmers and Ranchers Outlet and J&R IVAC R. Again, the sponsors. Hi there. How's things going this morning?
I'm good. How are you doing this morning,
I'm doing
Ted?
fine. I really appreciate you coming in, Monte. Let's talk about disc golf Saturday.
Well, we
Okay.
slid it to Sunday.
Okay, all right.
It was supposed to be Saturday, but with the rain,
Right, that's making a lot of changes this weekend. So let's talk. It's a benefit, and let's talk about that.
Yes,
a
it
little
is
bit,
a fundraising tournament for Team Reagan, which Reagan Kendall is a freshman in high school who has juvenile arthritis, and so this is a fundraiser, part of raising funds
Sure.
for the Arthritis Foundation that we're putting on.
Okay, so what's going to be happening again? It's going to be Sunday, not Saturday. 'Cause
Yes.
it's hopefully, in the sense that they've postponed things, hope we get a good rain. You know,
Yeah.
and that's what we really need that. Okay, so what are some of the particulars on
Well,
that?
we're going to start registering players at 1 o'clock down at the park on Sunday afternoon. So anybody can show up and register to play. All funds that come in for the entry fee are going to go straight to the Arthritis Foundation. So we've had some sponsors donate prizes that we're going to give away to all of the different categories, men's division, women's division, and a junior division for kids under 13.
Sure.
So we've got all that. We'll start playing probably about 2 o'clock. And we've also got some local players, one from Norton and possibly a couple others that are going to do a free clinic for people who are new to
That was my-
disc golf and just learn some basics and
Sure.
get a little more in the know.
Does a person have to, if they're just starting, can they show up and can they borrow a disc or
Oh,
something? Or how does that work?
shouldn't be a problem to borrow. Between my son and I, we have enough to help out several folks
Sure,
to come
okay.
play. So
You're a disc golfer? You're like-
yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Do you have different discs for different holes and stuff? I mean,
Absolutely.
Is this like golf? You have a
Absolutely.
a 1 wood and a 7 iron?
I was actually going to bring them all in. I forgot we were on video. I could have brought them all
Yeah,
in.
right, yeah.
But there are drivers that they're a higher speed disc. They have
Really?
a different type of rim on them,
didn't know, yeah.
and then there's mid-range discs and putters. And it's just depending on the wind, depending on the length of the hole or the layout of the hole,
Wow.
you kind of select a different disc. And
So to finish a hole, do you have to hit the chains or does it have to stay inside?
it
or how
either
does
has
that
to.
work?
It's kind of changed a little bit over the last year with some of the rules, but it has to come to rest basically inside the chains or within the basket.
Okay.
So
all right.
yes, and that means you've holed out and you can move on to the next
Wow.
hole.
Wow. So do you have pars?
Yes. Down here, all of our holes at the course here in Phillipsburg are par threes, except for 5 of them. Holes 7, 8, and 9, and also holes 17 and 18 are par fours.
Of course, it's a little longer to do.
Yep. So it's a par 59 course.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about why you're doing this again. It's
Okay.
It's a fundraiser.
Yes, sir.
And just show up. Is there an entry fee? Is that
There's
how
a
you make your
$20 entry fee for anybody that signs up to play. We've also had hole sponsorship from different businesses
Okay,
around the
sure.
community that have sponsored the holes.
That's good, yeah.
So the combination of the hole sponsorship and the entry fees are all going towards right directly to the Arthritis Foundation. So hoping to raise that we stand a good chance of raising close to $1,200
Wow,
just on this event.
Sure.
So
And so anyone can show up, and if they don't know anything about it, you go by and you wonder how that works, and you'll help them on that.
Absolutely.
Do you have prizes? You're gonna have
we
prizes?
have prizes for all the divisions. There's a good chance we're going to have some closest to the pin holes.
Really?
So if people, we'll have a flag out there and
Wow.
they can
That's neat.
see who can get closest to the pin on a specific hole, and we'll have prizes to give away. And
Sure. It's just like golf. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
just like golf. Same,
Yes, sir.
Same things to do, and hole-in-ones. You have hole-in-ones.
Yes, sir.
Is that
Yes, sir.
really hard in disc golf to have a hole-in-one?
I've played for 12 years and I have 3.
Oh, wow.
Young man in Norton, I don't know how long he's been playing, but he's got over 30.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. It's probably not as rare as ball golf, but
Yeah, sure.
But it's still difficult.
That's amazing, and there will be someone there to show how some basic things.
Yes, we're gonna have just a basic clinic following that's going to be free for anybody that wants to come out and be a part of that.
Wow.
Learn some of the basics of the game and talk about some of the rules and some of the dynamics of it. But yes.
And when does that start? Sunday? Then?
Sunday we'll start registering at 1.
Okay.
Play will start at 2:00, and it'll take probably close to 2.5 hours for us to complete the 18 holes. Once that's completed and we get prizes given out, then we'll start probably close to 5:00 with the clinic, and that'll probably last 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how many people show up.
Are you finding more and more people getting involved in this disc golf now?
Absolutely. Wow. I've been playing 12 years, but I've been a member of the PDGA, which is the Professional Disc Golfers Association.
Wow.
For just under 3 years, and in those since December of 2015, the membership in the PDGA has grown almost 40,000.
Wow! Geez.
So there's an increase in players and courses, and so it's really on the move, taking off.
It's great that Phillipsburg has one out here, and it started out 9, didn't it? And then they had 9 more, so it's 18 holes now.
Yes, 2016, Cody Blue wanted to do an Eagle Scout project,
great,
and William Fisher, who, by means of working at Tamco, he laid out the course and got things laid out, and Cody got some sweat equity from the other scouts and put work in and got that 9 holes in the ground, and we got to expand it in 2017 to 18 holes. And so,
do you have any kind of hazards? I mean, like in regular, you have sand and water.
Well, we don't have sand.
I know that wouldn't be.
There are out of bounds.
Okay.
So if you go out of bounds, you take a drop within a meter from the out of bounds line. You take a penalty stroke and you throw from there.
Trees in the way, maybe?
Trees. Trees can sometimes be friendly, but most of the time not. And if water, depending, the creek down here at the park, we play that as casual water since it's not always got water in it. So if it's casual, then you just take a lie behind where your disc is laying in the water and play on to the basket.
Not take a stroke or anything.
Don't take a stroke. Now, there are situations where water is OB, so you take a stroke.
That's amazing.
So yeah,
mine would be in the middle of that pond every time if I played.
I've done that a few times, depending on the course.
Are there a lot of courses around the country now?
It's growing, and courses are really going in and expanding. I mean, I moved here 2.5 years ago from Michigan. I had about 30 courses within 15 miles.
Wow.
I moved out here, and my closest course was 30 miles away in Norton. So
you're glad to see one open up here, right?
Yes. So, but I've played several around the area. There's Holdridge has a 9-hole course, and Kearney has a few courses, and McCook, and so play a lot. And I'll be heading to Emporia next week. It's kind of the hub of Kansas disc golf.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, there's a big tournament there next week, so about 1,600 people are coming into Emporia next week to play all over the place. So yeah, it's pretty big. Courses coming in and getting put in the ground.
Is there a limit to how many different kind of discs you can have?
Nope. Okay. If you can carry them, it's unlike golf where you can only get 14 clubs.
Right,
in disc golf, if you can manage to carry them all with you, you can take as many as you want.
So what's the difference between a driver, or I'll call it a driver, or a tee off, and like the putter? What's the difference in them?
Well, a driver is usually a lower profile disc that has a really wide rim, so it creates weight. Yep, so it carries and creates weight. A putter is usually a deeper dished,
heavier one. So it's
they run between. They can go as low as the 130 grams, and in that range. And max weight is 176 grams.
Wow. Okay. Well,
so between those weights, and some people prefer heavy, some people prefer light.
Sure.
But
okay. Well, it's what they do.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Okay.
So.
All right. So that's this. It's Sunday 1:00.
Sunday 1:00 is registration. 2:00 we'll tee off, and we'll have a shotgun start for everybody that shows up. And
that's great. Where's your shotgun? Huh?
No.
Bang!
Maybe. I don't know.
Bang. Okay. Well, thanks for coming in, Monte.
Appreciate it.
It's for a good cause.
Yes, sir.
And just show up if you play. Show up if you don't learn how to play. Don't
Absolutely.
listen,
And anybody, any age. I mean, they're.
well, you look at me. That's something I can handle better than maybe going 18 holes on the
Oh,
golf course.
absolutely. It's kind of one of the, they call golf a life sport, tennis a life sport. I think disc golf is a life
it would
sport
be,
also.
Yeah, sure would be. Okay, get
So.
you out in the going around.
Yes, it does.
I'm down at Hayes. They have one in the south part of Hayes there,
Yes,
along
yes.
Big Creek.
Yep.
And I've seen them. One day there were a bunch of people out there playing. It
Yep.
looked like a lot of college kids were doing
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. We hope a lot of people show up, and weather should be clear by then.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Fine.
Mid 50s and just a slight bit of wind. So.
All right. Fine. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
You have a
Monte.
good day.
All right. Again, that's this Sunday. Postponed because of the weather. It's going to be on the Sunday afternoon. We're going to have the Agra Lake to talk with us this morning here. We got Frank out there. Frank, okay. All right. Hi there.
Hi.
Oh, I've known him for a long time. We go way back, don't we, Frank?
Yep.
Okay. Thanks for coming on.
Yep.
Two things I want to talk about. I want to talk about the Agra Lake and what's going on. You'd be surprised how many times I drive in and go around the lake. I mean, I've been there a lot this year, and it's just fun to see. And this is being done, and this is being done. You've had a picnic over there one day last summer. Went over with some friends on a picnic.
Labor Day weekend, we had a appreciation dinner.
Yeah, right. And why I want you all to know also about the fundraiser. Let's talk a little about the lake. How long? The lake is a WPA project, wasn't it?
Yep. It was started about 1932, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And it was a water thing, and some years you have water, some not. But lately you've been pretty lucky with that, haven't you?
Well, we after we finished digging it out, we had to remove about 95,000 cubic yards of silt that was in there. That's one reason why it was going dry all the time.
Sure, right, yeah.
Because there was no place for the water.
Water would go over the dam, wouldn't it? Yeah. Or
And
the
yeah, we got it. We had to wait probably 4 years for water.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's probably a little over 2 years ago we got
Had that good one.
good water.
Yeah.
And the Kansas Wildlife, we've signed a contract with them. They've got stock. We got large bass fingerlings in there and channel cat.
Okay. Okay. So what are your plans? What have you done lately?
We keep working a little bit at it.
Yeah, right. Sure.
We've sanded the beach on the east side.
Right.
It's kind of neat to see how many people come down and swim, and it just like it used to be years ago,
Sure.
you know.
Right. Yeah.
And last year, towards the end of the year, we had a 16 by 16 foot floating fishing pier made, and we got it. We don't have it anchored yet.
Yeah.
We're using it for some other purpose down there, but it's on the lake.
Yeah.
And but our big project right now, what we're working on or getting ready, is to pave the walking trail.
Okay. Yeah. That walking trail's neat. You know, when you
Yeah.
you drive down and come up and around. And you've got, when do the restrooms go in on the west side there? They've been in there for a while.
Who knows? The time flies. It's been probably at least 3 years ago.
Okay.
We put one both. They're prefab restroom. They're made south of Dallas, Texas,
Okay.
and they're supposed to withstand up to 184 mile an hour winds.
Wow.
But they're really nice. They've got self-contained ventilation system. You can walk in; it doesn't smell like it used to years ago. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we found it was cheaper. We redid the two original outhouses, but there was nothing left underneath.
Sure.
We had to lift them, and
Right. Yeah.
and since we're on the National Register, historic places, they would make us put it right back in the same footprint,
It has to be same
and
place.
it just couldn't raise it up and dig and put it back down without a whole bunch of problems.
Sure.
And we had an individual, in memory of her parents, give a sizable donation. That's what we used for bring those in.
Sure. And what's that? As you come in, you go around below the dam, but before you make that turn there, there's that rock building. What is that building there? You don't know what I'm talking about? It's kind of up on
Oh
the hill.
yeah, that's just one of the. We have three WPA houses there,
Okay.
and that's the one that's almost the original shape. It's still got the hand-hewn beams inside.
Mm-hmm.
When we redid it, all we did was put a new roof on it, or
Okay. Yeah,
sheeting
sure.
on it.
Mhm. So WPA built that too?
Yep.
What was it? Was it for housing, or they just wanted
No,
work
just
to
for
do?
recreation and
Really? Okay.
Yep.
And then is the picnic on the west side there, is that new? I mean, was that a WPA project too?
Yep.
Wow.
there were three buildings. That one that you're talking about, we call it the Boy Scout house.
Okay, right,
The
okay.
Boy Scouts had meetings every once in a while, but they used it for storage when they had their paper drives.
Okay.
And when we went and cleaned it out before we had the new roof put on, sit there and it didn't look like very much paper inside. But we started hauling that out, and
Yeah.
there would it just kind of grew.
Yeah.
The one on the west side is the main shelter house,
Mhm.
and the one on the east side was the bathhouse.
Okay.
It had men and ladies,
Wow.
and it had the pipe shower stalls
Yeah.
inside.
Wow.
We removed all that,
Mhm.
and we got a couple picnic tables in there.
It's amazing. You look at, so it was built as a recreation, not a flood control thing. It was a recreation.
Right.
Is that what? Okay.
Yes,
Well,
they did it with the mules and everything.
Yeah. Wow. WPA came in. I remember. I wasn't very old, but I saw a lot of WPA projects in the later 30s being
Oh, yeah.
done. And well, we have Phillipsburg has a lot of WPA projects here. The football
You know,
field and the.
Looking at the different ones around the country, I mean, these were just farmers and stuff looking for
Sure. Give them
work.
a job. Yeah.
And the job they did with that stone and everything,
Yeah,
like
it's amazing.
in Hoxie, where I grew up, the swimming pool was a WPA project. And
The Garden City swimming pool is the largest free concrete swimming pool in the world, and that was a WPA
Yep.
project. It's a block. Have you ever seen a swimming pool in Gardens? It's a block.
Yeah.
And it's a huge swimming pool down there.
I swam in there when I was probably 10 or 11 years
Yeah,
old.
yeah. So it's a huge, and they changed. I didn't swim in it much because they didn't change the water out of that thing.
Yeah.
They put water in the spring, and it was the same. Toward August, you could walk across the water. It
Yeah.
wasn't very clean.
I remember that the water was so warm.
Well, yeah, it was
When we
there all
swam,
summer.
yeah.
Yeah, it was warm there. It was only 8 feet deep, and then
Yep.
now they've done a lot
Yep.
of things with it now. They have circulation and all that's a lot better there. So, okay, so you want to keep doing things over there, so you're having a fundraiser. Let's talk
Yep.
about that a little bit.
Well, that's coming up this Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
They open up at 11 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be at the Agra American Legion,
Okay.
and we're having pulled pork, coleslaw, baked beans, and soft serve ice cream.
Okay. All right. And show up and help out the project.
Oh, yeah.
there.
Like I say, we started out 2 years ago, and we got kind of backwards because we had to. We put in that walking bridge.
All right. Yeah.
That's a nice looking bridge in there.
I know it. That's
60
nice.
foot, but we had to drill down to put our pillars down,
'Cause it-
and we wanted to do it before we had water in the lake because couldn't get in there if
Sure,
we had
right,
water.
Right. Yeah.
And fortunately, we got it in, and it wasn't
Yeah.
too long after that it got water up in there, so we got it done in time. Then we got the walking trail all formed up.
Mm-hmm.
So about the only thing left to do on it is pave it.
Sure.
We think it's about a little over 4,000 feet long, the trail.
You're
Yeah,
going to pave it whole.
Yep.
The whole thing. Wow.
going to do it right. so you can walk, and
Yeah.
we have a lot of people down there and walk now,
Mm-hmm.
but they walk on the road and some on the
Sure.
walking trail, and
You have the trail in all now there where
Yeah.
you're going to pave it and everything?
Yes.
With blacktop, is that what you'd pave it with?
no, we're going to do concrete.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, that'd be a good long. So that, any idea of cost-wise or what?
Well, I figured, unless I'm made a mistake,
Well,
I haven't finalized,
Okay.
but I think it's going to cost about $10 a foot,
Okay, all right. Okay, so.
and we're talking about a little over $40,000.
Okay, but you got that walking trail. That would really increase the use of that, wouldn't it, I'm sure?
And it does for people that, just like you say, I do the same thing you do,
Yeah,
and a lot of people do. We just drive down there and look, just kind of amazing
sure,
what,
it is.
from what it was before.
Mm-hmm.
And Sunday we're going to have, we've taken pictures of this, all the steps,
Sure.
and so we're going to have all the pictures out,
Wow.
and it's so easy to forget what it used to look like.
Sure.
I mean, the buildings were falling down, and
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, and I used to. When they you guys finally started to do something on it again. That was really great. That how it comes, and it's a community. Not many communities have a lake,
no,
and which is really. And I was over there this last summer. Every time I was over there were people swimming on that beach and
Oh,
going
I know
out.
it.
You know.
then some people bought little kayaks,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they come from Phillipsburg and Pinkerton, and
Yeah.
the buildings. Like I said, the main one used is the one on the west side,
Sure. Right.
and it's if they're open, they're open. You can picnic there, but we do have a if you want to reserve it,
Mhm.
they
Can
just have to
reserve
call
it.
the city
Sure.
office
Mhm.
and
Okay.
reserve it. We'll let them, because we got like alumni.
Sure.
You know, when you have 40 people coming back, and if there's a
Sure.
family
Some
of five,
there.
and there's 40 wanting to have
Yeah,
it, so
yeah.
we do. But if it's not reserved, then they can just
Okay,
come
that's
in.
great.
Yeah, we hope to get also after we get this walking trail paved, work on a playground
Mhm.
for the kids.
Wow. That's
We have the original plans for the lake,
really.
and it shows where the horseshoe pits are,
Really, yeah.
and the swings. It even tells what kind of trees were planted and where.
Wow.
it was-
yeah.
Pretty well documented out.
WPA project. I remember, like I said, of course, you know what they used to call it? WPA. It was a Works Progress Administration,
Yeah.
is what it was. It was a thing to help with a thing. I've mentioned this before. I think WPA, my granddad said this. That stands for We Piddle Around. You know? Because you'd see them standing on the shit, on highway work, they'd be
Yeah.
leaning on the. But it was a good project to get the United
Oh,
States
yeah.
moving again.
Yeah. And like I said, the quality of the work, just like when we redid our waterworks,
Mhm.
we redid all everything in town
Sure.
with a grant. We supplied the labor,
Mhm.
but they did a lot of that pipe, and I mean it was straight.
Yeah.
They did it by hand.
Yeah.
We was on the trencher, and you curve a little bit, and it makes a big old dip in the back, and
Now the water south of 36 there, that's another dam in there. Has that been there very long? The lake there?
yes, it's been there quite
Is
a
that
while.
part of it too, or that's not
No,
not
that's
part of it?
that's a private.
Private thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And how's we've had this drought situation.
Well-
Does it take much rain upstream to get water into it?
It has to be in the right place.
Uh-huh.
I forget. When we applied for the water rights, we had to have the watershed district all mapped out,
Okay.
and we had like water resources and people.
Sure.
That's what's nice about it. I mean, we didn't know that much about it, but there's people there to guide you along. And,
Sure. Yeah.
but we probably been 3 months ago we sprung a leak.
Really?
Yes. What happened, engineers and state, there's a pipe underneath the lake at the bottom.
Mhm.
And they didn't want any cavities in the dam, so we had to fill that with concrete.
Okay.
And we believe all that weight settled a little bit.
Okay.
And the water found its way
By the pipe?
by the pipe.
Wow.
But it was running out pretty good on the other side. We're down probably 3.5, 4 feet at
Really?
least.
Wow. How'd you plug it? How do you?
We had somebody come in and excavate and pack it and bentonite.
It's all right now then. Everything.
Yeah, we think we got it pretty well stopped.
Do you put bentonite on the? Is it in the lake at all to keep the water from going down or?
I don't know. They might originally, but I don't think so.
Okay, all right.
But we've, well, that's what we're using that boat
Sure,
dock thing for
okay.
now. We got a spreader,
Okay.
and we bought bentonite pellets and other stuff. We put it in that spreader, just like a lawn spreader,
Yeah, sure.
and we've spread bentonite across the top.
Okay.
But we, well, just like this, we found out there was somebody in Arizona, and so we talked to them, and they said, well, we think what's best is to do this, and
Well, that's great. Okay. Well, we get some rain. Hopefully, it's how far upstream does it have to be?
we, our watershed goes just about 10 miles
Oh wow. Okay.
north. But like I said, it's pretty narrow.
If you have water, if the water rights to it, can anyone put a dam on that or anything? A farmer, if he wanted to, on that, or
I think so.
okay, it takes. I'm sure a lot of paperwork to do all that stuff.
Well, we'd lost our water rights late 70s
Mhm.
because when it was explained to us, it says, you guys haven't used them because the lake was dry.
Oh, okay.
You use them or lose them.
Okay, that's right.
And so, I mean, we didn't have, there was no money around then.
Sure. Yeah.
And so we lost our water rights. And
Do you
That
have them
was
back
one-
though? Do you have them back?
yeah,
You got them back.
we didn't get as much,
Okay.
but we got enough. We had around 65 acre feet.
Okay.
So we got 6.5 acres, 10 foot deep.
Okay.
And that was the experience, getting a big, because people said, well, you can't get water rights now.
Yeah.
But, well, Janice Lee, she guided us through everything, and
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah,
So-
but that was one of the first things we did.
Right.
I mean, no use having the lake if you don't have
You
water
don't have
rights.
water rights. Okay, so that's coming up Sunday, 11 o'clock.
Yep.
At which church in the First Methodist?
It's going to be at the American Legion.
American Legion. Okay,
Yep.
American Legion.
That, and if they haven't been there, you probably haven't been there. We've redone the big room at the American Legion.
Last time, they used to always have those dinners right
Yep.
before Christmas. I'd come over there every year.
Yep.
And the last couple of years I haven't just because of various things. But so you've redone that too? then,
Yes,
right?
people really surprised when they walk
So,
in.
okay, well, okay, well,
It'd been 44 years
wow.
since we built
since
the Legion.
anything, but that's a good
Yeah,
facility.
I moved to town on like a Monday, and the neighbor says, "You doing anything Saturday?" I says, "Well, no." And he says, "We're pouring the floor at the American Legion." How would you like? So
You got her going then.
Yep.
Okay, okay.
I even got paid for it. They went and
Okay.
gave me my first year membership free.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Frank. We appreciate it. I hope that a lot of people show up, and that's
Yes.
a great. If you have never been there, just drive in. It's at the west entrance there, right by the cemetery. Go north about 2 blocks, and there's
Yep.
a sign there. And drive down and drive all the way around because
Yep.
I'll be going somewhere, and I'll just drive
Oh,
around
I
and see
know.
what's going on there. It's
Yep.
nice. And I like I said, had a picnic there last summer with some people, and just you can drive up. I'd like to drive up on the west side. You can just park there by that one bench and look on the lake. It's
Yes.
a really neat deal there. So.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we hope that things go well and you get your walking path done.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for coming over this morning.
Thanks, Dad.
I appreciate it. Known Frank for a long time. Is that it? Anyone else? Anyone? Okay. That's all I have scheduled, but you never know who's going to show up there on the Tadpoll. And next, is that it?
Nathan Blackburn. No.
Is that it? Okay. We got some of the workers on here. Again, thanks for everyone for coming by this morning, and it's enjoyable to do this show. And we'll be back next Thursday at 9 o'clock with the Tadpole. Saturday morning on Sports Talk, we're going to talk with J.B. Covington. Won't have any golfers there. Keith's going to be gone. He couldn't get any of his assistants available, so we will not have golf, but we'll be talking about the Piranha swimming team and also about the K-18 baseball. We'll have John on to talk about K-18 baseball, maybe the mayor, or maybe not, if he's gone turkey hunting. I don't know what about that. So, and I guess turkey hunting is legal now, isn't it? I hope. He said he was going to go anyway. I'm not giving away any secrets here. He wouldn't do that. So we'll see you next Thursday morning. Again, Rachel, thank you for getting us all set up here and making it possible for us to get the word out. So we'll see you Saturday morning, Sports Talk, 9 o'clock, and next Thursday here at the Tadpoll on our great facilities here.